Hello, this is wmpyr here to talk about the LLC knife, the Lapu Corto. Okay, I'm going to put a ton of information and details that you might be looking for, the standard stuff, in a description box below. So please be sure to take a look at that, because I'm not going to cover it in this video because I want this video to be unique. I want to talk more about the martial arts aspect of this knife. So probably if you're watching this video, you're into tactical knives, you like tactical knives and stuff, you have a good collection maybe. And what I would like to do is I want to challenge you, challenge your perspective. And when you see this, let's not view this from a product point of view, because when you have that consumer mentality, you're looking at this knife and you're going, you know, and you see, you're going to notice stuff right away, especially if you understand and have a lot of tactical knives. You're going to notice, like, okay, it is a tip down carry, and you know, it has a big old ramp sticking out and stuff like that, you know. So rather than focus on those kinds of details from a preference point of view, because when you're buying stuff, that's what you're looking for. You're looking at preferences, right? I challenge you guys to view this knife from the perspective of, rather than you're buying a product, you're buying a martial art. You're buying a style. You're buying, in particular, Filipino martial arts. The reason why I say this is because the designer of this knife, Professor BRAMP is, you know, as far as like Filipino martial arts goes, he is a Filipino martial arts expert to the highest degree imaginable, okay? And his wisdom, his experiences, his techniques, his skill was put into this knife when he designed this thing. And I mean, we're talking about years and years and years and years, I mean decades in the process of making this knife come to life. So when you look at every single feature that this knife has, it's all there for a reason. And the reason it comes from Filipino martial arts. So it all ties into that. And that's why I ask you guys to suspend your preferences, and rather than that, go into trying to understand this knife. And like any other martial art, you know, the martial arts is there for you, whether you're a beginner or zero training or you're an expert. It's there for you to help you for self-defense and for life in general. It's there to help you. And of course, the more time you put in, the more you're going to get benefits out of it, of course. But that doesn't mean that you need to put in, you know, 5, 10, 20 years in order to be able to use this knife. That's completely wrong, and that's insane. So the average person can pick up this knife and figure out, you know, okay, so it's designed to be used closed. Okay, so you can see right here that this is like an umbrella. It's a guard for your finger. You're going to understand that, okay? And then you're going to see that it can hammer. So you could use this to dig in, to scrape, to cause pain. Same with back here. The collar right here can do the same. That's why it's pointy. And right here on the bottom, this is pointy too. This is because in the Filipino martial arts, we have techniques where we grab stuff, and then you can see you're digging that in. And same with up here. I could grab stuff, and that makes the ramp dig in, because it has teeth. It has teeth on the ramp, all up and down right there. So I could use that to grab like a finger or pinch skin and dig this in. The bottom part right here, this also lets 2 or even 3 fingers right here hook on. So it gives me that kind of leverage. But once again, if I need to grab and cause pain, I can't. So that's why that's there. And of course, the bottom this is the obvious. This is your 44 Magnum striking with the hammer fist down this way. And because of that, it is reinforced. It's just a chunk of metal in there. And it makes perfect sense. So all that makes perfect sense to use this thing closed, just like a Kubotan, just like a Yawara stick. So you're getting a knife plus a palm stick. So you're getting two things in one right here. And so from a self-defense perspective, if you understand Kubotans and Yawara sticks and how helpful that can be in a self-defense situation, this makes total sense. The other thing is those things are attached a lot of times to your keys. Therefore, they're already in your hands. And this idea of it's already in your hands is huge. I mean, this goes perfectly well with this knife right here. That's the idea here. It's already in your hand. So when you do need to take the blade out, once again, you have it closed. You don't have to worry about taking the blade out or anything. That makes that motion, that idea more complex. You know, so just take it out in the closed position and use it just like that. So you're using it as a non-lethal self-defense impact tool. That's the idea right there. And so from that perspective, it also makes sense that the pocket clip is right there. So it's going to sit high in your pocket. So it's not for you're trying to conceal this thing. You know, it's ready and available. So it gives you all this real estate all up here to grab and pull it out fast. So once again, it goes perfectly well with what it's designed to do, you know. So the best example I could give you is a samurai sword. When they're carrying their sword on the hip, you have the big old handle sticking out. Why? Because it's ready for you to grab and pull out the sword. So that's the idea there. So this here, this whole area that's going to be sticking out, this whole area above the pocket clip is like the handle of a samurai sword. It gives you that much area, leverage to grab and take this thing out. Because why? You want this thing out in your hand as fast as you can to help you. It is a enhancer, a technique enhancer. And that's what a Kubotan Yawara stick, palm stick does. So once again, it makes sense. The other thing is deploying the knife, right? When you deploy this knife, this big old ramp, it hooks on things, as you guys can imagine. So the wave knife that is very popular and people like that knife is designed to hook on your pants pocket. This one, because the ramp is so massive, it's designed to hook on just about anything you can think of, anything you can go for, just hook on it. It's not limited to your pants pocket. So I like that as well. So you hook that, or if you don't hook it, I mean, just opening it with your fingers, it just makes it easier because you have so much more. You have so much more there. And once you do get the blade out, like so, the blade shape, there's a bunch of different blade shapes available, and to me that's preference. Yes, different blade shapes have different characteristics, without a doubt. But for me, that's more about preference. And you can see here that the blade is shorter than the handle. And once again, the idea here is not that you're getting jipped, that the blade is not as long. To me, it's more so that the handle is long and you're getting a lot of benefits from the handle. The blade is fine, the way this wasn't designed to be a massive blade knife. Although Professor Bram Frank has designed some knives where the blade is longer, larger blade and stuff. So if that's your preference, once again, they have that. But I view this as, let's keep the blade on a little bit on the shorter side, but let's keep the handle. Let's keep the blade as big as we can, but without going into large territory. But let's really maximize the handle, because the handle is used for so much. And the shape of the handle, okay, first of all, the profile is quite thin. So because it's thin in thickness, it allows for, boom, just, grip changing stuff just it's more comfortable to do that. And also we have these things right here, the clip and the circle here. Both of these allow for you to hold with your finger, and then you can do this kind of swing to get some momentum to change grip much faster. I'm sorry I can't do it on camera here. I'm sitting way off on the corner here to get out of y'all's way so you can see the knife. But I have other videos demonstrating that stuff. So anyway, that's there for the grip change. And when you have a thinner knife like this, a lot of times, it's just straight. And when it's straight and it's thin, it can become more awkward to use because now you're sacrificing a lot of grip, right? But in this case, you see the shape of the handle, it's very, very stylized. And that's so to give you grip, not from thickness or texture from the handle, but more so from the shape of the handle. So that's what they're giving, because they didn't want to sacrifice the ability to be able to have the slender profile and change grips. So for that purpose, but then you don't want to lose gripping ability. And the shape here is 100% Filipino Martial Arts 101. The grip techniques that we have with the sticks. And even if you don't know that stuff, this encourages that. So even if you don't know the Filipino martial arts grips, just by holding this knife alone, it's going to encourage those kinds of gripping. Just by feeling onto this knife right here, it helps you understand the mechanics. So that is awesome right there. It teaches you the basic Filipino martial arts grips with this. And not just basics, you can go into more advanced grips with this knife as well. So that to me is just like, that's amazing right there. That it encourages all the right grips for Filipino martial arts, And so now, that being said, we also have the trainer, the red trainer. And the great thing about a training knife, of course, in the martial arts, we do a lot of practicing, so it's very, very important for us to have a trainer. And especially if you're a beginner with this kind of stuff, you're gonna want a trainer, because I hear so many people, they go, I saw a karambit video, so I bought a karambit on Amazon, and then I cut myself immediately. They got it, and they immediately unboxed it and messed around with it and cut themselves. It just doesn't make any sense. Martial arts wise, we train as much as we can. If you cut yourself, you can't train anymore. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So to have something so that you can train with, and then on top of that, it is as close as possible to the actual thing, that is so critical. Really, the only difference here is the actual blade itself, but the rest, the ramp, the handle, the clip, the locking, everything is the same. And then that is so, so important there, so important. So you get the same feel as you're training. But yeah, so please, you guys need to invest in a trainer, and put in some time with the practice. You don't have to, once again, train 5, 10, 15, 20 years. No, but keep in mind, the more training that you put in, the more benefits you're going to get. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.